Whispers rise across the world every December. A quiet shift, a closing of an ancient cycle, a doorway only the still-hearted can feel. And right now, you have stepped directly into it, the 999 activation portal. I am Shiheng Yi, and before this month ends, you will understand why 999 is not just a number. It is a signal, a turning point, a moment when the old self begins to dissolve and the new self prepares to awaken. In the Shaolin tradition, every cycle of growth ends the same way, with release, stillness, and rebirth. The warrior completes his training, empties his mind, and allows his spirit to reset. December mirrors this exact process. It is the final exhale of the year, a closing chapter that asks one question: are you willing to let go of who you were so you can step into who you are becoming? In this video, you will learn why 999 is considered the energy of completion across ancient teachings, and how this month amplifies every intention you speak. You will discover how Shaolin masters prepare for inner transformation, why certain energies peak in December, and how a single phrase spoken with the right inner alignment can activate a shift that has been waiting for you all year. Stay with me until the end, because the final message I will share is the key that turns this portal into an experience you can feel in your body, not just understand with your mind. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. If you're seeking clarity, discipline, and a deeper path of self-mastery, subscribe and walk this journey with us. A single word can steady the mind or scatter it. This is something every Shaolin disciple learns early on. Before strength, before movement, before mastery comes intention, spoken, shaped, and released with awareness. In this part of our journey, I want to take you deeper into the power behind the words you speak. In the West, people often think mantras are mystical sounds meant to summon miracles. But in Shaolin culture, the purpose is far simpler and far more powerful. When a monk repeats a mantra, he is not trying to bend the universe. He is aligning himself. His breath settles. His heartbeat slows. His awareness gathers like still water returning to the center of a bowl. The mantra is a tool, not for magic, but for precision. When we speak with intention, the vibration of the words reorganizes our internal energy. The body becomes attentive. The mind becomes focused. The spirit becomes steady. This is why monks choose their words carefully. Silence is preferred over careless speech, because every sound carries direction. And this is where the truth behind the 999 portal becomes clear. Saying this is not superstition. It is not about repeating a phrase and waiting for something supernatural to happen. It is about speaking in a way that directs your inner current. You are giving your energy a command. You are telling your mind what to release. You are telling your spirit where to move next. When intention, breath, and awareness meet at the same point, the spoken word becomes a compass. It points you toward what you seek. It reminds your nervous system of your path. It awakens a strength within you that already knows the way forward. This is why in Shaolin life, speech is treated like a blade, sharp enough to cut through confusion, but only when guided by stillness. There comes a point in every journey when holding on becomes heavier than letting go. In Shaolin life, this moment is unmistakable. A student may train for years, but true progress begins only when he releases the layers he clings to, the ego, the old habits, the rigid stories of who he thinks he must be. Only then does his body soften, his mind clear, and his spirit become light enough to rise. The energy of 999 mirrors this exact threshold. It is the symbol of release, a closing breath that clears the path for renewal. December carries this frequency more than any other time of the year. The month feels like a silent teacher. It invites you to put down what has been weighing on your spirit, even if you've carried it for so long that it feels familiar. In the temple, the master observes a student's tension before correcting a single movement. Shoulders lifted, jaw tight, breath shallow, all signs that the student is still fighting with his own past. He is not present. He is not open. He is training with the ghosts of old identities holding onto him like invisible chains. And many people move through December in the same way. Old emotions rise. Memories replay. The year's unspoken burdens sit quietly in the chest. But this is not punishment. It is the portal doing its work. The 999 activation does not ask you to become stronger. It asks you to become lighter, to acknowledge what no longer belongs in your next chapter, to soften your grip on the version of yourself that life has already outgrown. Releasing is not weakness, it is discipline, it is mastery, and it is the first step towards stepping through the final doorway of the year with clarity, steadiness, and a spirit unburdened by yesterday. Stillness is often misunderstood. Many believe it is the absence of movement, the quiet between actions, the pause before life begins again. But in the deeper traditions of Shaolin, stillness is not a break from the journey. It is the journey. It is the place where inner change begins long before the outer world reflects it. In the temple, one of the most profound practices is Yan Zhuang, the art of standing meditation. To an untrained eye, it looks simple. A monk stands silently, rooted like a mountain, but inside, everything is happening. Breath settles, muscles release what they do not need. The mind sinks lower, steadier, until it meets a calm that feels ancient and unwavering. In that calm, something awakens. A quiet strength that does not rely on force. This is the same principle behind the 999 activation. December is not asking for noise, frantic action, or rushed transformation. It asks for stillness, because stillness reveals what is real. When you pause, your truth rises. When you breathe, the clutter dissolves. When you stand in silence, your energy aligns without effort. This alignment is what the portal amplifies. During this month, the still moments speak louder than your thoughts. The quiet evening, the slow breath, the brief pause before reacting, these become sacred spaces. They are the inner training grounds where old patterns loosen and new pathways begin to form. The universe does not respond to chaos. It responds to coherence. And coherence is born in stillness. The 999 portal magnifies whatever you cultivate in that silence. If your heart is calm, the calm expands. If your intention is clear, the path sharpens. If your spirit is steady, the shift becomes effortless. True activation begins when you stop chasing change and allow it to find you in the quiet. There is a teaching passed down quietly in many Shaolin halls. Observe the mind like clouds passing over a mountain. The mountain does not chase the clouds. It does not argue with them. It does not try to hold them in place. It simply remains steady, grounded, unmoved, while everything else drifts across its surface. This is the essence of mindfulness, and during the 999 activation, it becomes essential. As this energetic cycle closes, emotions often rise with unusual intensity. Old memories return, small irritations feel sharper, and hidden fears surface without warning. Many people mistake this for chaos, but it is simply the final stirring of what is ready to leave. The energy of completion brings everything unprocessed into the light. Shaolin discipline teaches that these moments are not signals to react. They are invitations to witness. When a monk trains, distractions appear constantly. Pain, impatience, doubt. Instead of fighting them, he watches. He sees the thoughts, feels the sensations, acknowledges the emotions, and lets them pass, just like clouds. The power lies in that space between awareness and reaction. When you witness instead of absorb, the emotion loses its grip. When you breathe instead of respond, the mind settles. When you allow thoughts to move without chasing them, your inner world becomes clear enough for wisdom to rise. This practice is not passive. It is a form of strength that takes discipline. To sit with discomfort without running. To feel anger without becoming it. To watch fear without feeding it. This is how the mountain stands through the storm. During the 999 portal, this skill becomes a doorway. Witnessing allows you to release what no longer serves you. It helps the old energy dissolve naturally, gently, without force. And in that quiet inner space, the next version of yourself begins to reveal itself. Completion is often seen as the final step, a quiet ending to a long journey. But in ancient teachings, completion is not just an ending, it is a form of strength. It is the moment when discipline becomes visible, when intention becomes action, and when the spirit proves its resilience. The energy of 999 embodies this truth. It calls you to finish what you once avoided, to close the chapters that remained half-written, to face the tasks or emotions you kept delaying. This is not simply symbolic, it is energetic. Unfinished cycles drain power, completed cycles restore it. In Shaolin life, a training cycle is never left open. A warrior may struggle, grow tired, or face inner resistance, but he finishes with devotion. Even when the final steps are the hardest, he completes them because he understands that stopping halfway weakens the spirit. It teaches the mind that giving up is acceptable. Completion, however, builds momentum, a force that carries him into the next phase with clarity and confidence. Many people underestimate the spiritual weight of unfinished things. The conversation never had, the promise never honored, the habit never broken, all of these linger in the heart like stones. They create subtle tension, a sense of being pulled backward. December brings these unfinished threads to the surface so they can finally be tied, released, or resolved. Completion is not about perfection, it is about respect. Respect for your own path, your own growth, your own inner integrity. Each time you finish something you once resisted, you reclaim a piece of your power. You tell your spirit, I am ready to move forward. And as the cycle of 999 reaches its peak, every act of completion becomes a step that strengthens your momentum, opening space for the next chapter to begin without the weight of the past holding you down. In every ancient tradition, breath is treated as a doorway. It is the first thing we receive when life begins, and the last thing we release when life ends. Everything in between, every emotion, every decision, every moment of clarity or confusion is influenced by the rhythm of how we breathe. Breath is the bridge between the energy we carry and the actions we take. In Shaolin practice, breath work is not optional. It is foundational. A student may struggle with strength, balance, or focus, but the master will always guide him back to the breath. When breath becomes steady, the mind follows. When breath deepens, tension loosens. When breath becomes intentional, the entire inner landscape shifts. Controlled breath dissolves blockages that words cannot reach. In the temple, a monk learns to breathe low into the belly, slowly, quietly, without forcing anything. This simple act activates the lower dantian, the body's energetic center, where power gathers without strain. With each breath, the mind softens, the body releases old stiffness, and the spirit becomes grounded and receptive. This is the reason breath is so important during the 999 activation. The portal does not respond to frantic energy or scattered thoughts. It responds to coherence, a state in which the body and mind align. Conscious breathing creates this alignment. When you inhale fully, you draw in clarity. When you exhale fully, you release residue from the year that your spirit no longer needs. Breath becomes a cleansing tool, a quiet purifier that prepares you for higher intention. When the breath slows, the world around you feels different. The noise fades, the emotional clutter settles. In that calm, intention becomes sharper, stronger, and more honest. And with each breath, you open yourself to the energy waiting to meet you, steady, grounded, and ready for transformation. There is a difference between speaking and speaking with alignment. One is sound escaping the mouth. The other is intention rising from the center of your being. During powerful energetic periods like the 999 activation, this difference becomes everything. In Shaolin tradition, monks never chant from the throat. They chant from the lower dantian, the energetic core just below the navel. This is the place where breath gathers, strength settles, and awareness becomes steady. When sound rises from the center, it carries weight. It carries presence. It carries truth. The body vibrates, the mind aligns, and the spirit responds as one unified force. The words themselves are simple, but the energy behind them is what creates movement. When you speak from tension, the phrase loses strength. When you speak from fear, the vibration becomes scattered. When you speak from rush, the message becomes thin. But when you speak slowly, when you speak on the breath, when you speak from a grounded center, the phrase becomes a living intention. It becomes a compass pointing your energy in a single clear direction. This is how activation truly works. The universe does not react to noise, it reacts to coherence. A steady voice anchored in the body carries more power than a loud voice unanchored in the spirit. So when you approach the activation phrase of this portal, speak as the monks do, slow, calm, rooted, present. Let the breath lead the sound, not the mind's anxiety or expectation. Speak from the place beneath thought. Speak from the stillness you cultivated. Speak as though every word is a stone being placed on the path before you. When your voice rises from your center, the phrase becomes more than language. It becomes intention made physical, a signal the universe can finally hear. There is a quiet magic in emptiness. In the halls of Shaolin, a student is taught that a cup cannot hold more water until the old has been poured out. The same is true of the mind, the heart, and the spirit. Completion, release, and stillness create the space where life's new opportunities can flow. December, with its 999 energy, mirrors this principle. As the old year comes to a close, the energies that no longer serve us are stirred, and often they rise to the surface to be released. Every resentment, every doubt, every hesitation that has lingered quietly within begins to move. And once it is let go, the space left behind is not empty, it is fertile, it is waiting, it is ready. In Shaolin philosophy, this is understood not as passive waiting, but as active preparation. A warrior does not simply hope the new will arrive, he creates the conditions for it. By clearing the mind, calming the body, and aligning the spirit, he becomes receptive. The empty cup is ready for the fresh water that brings strength, clarity, and renewal. During this portal, the universe responds in kind. It does not push new energy into a cluttered vessel. It rushes to fill the space you have intentionally opened. Opportunities that once seemed distant or impossible now appear, often subtly at first, like a gentle wind signaling change. But those who have prepared themselves to receive recognize it immediately. To open space is an act of courage. It requires surrender, patience, and trust in the process. The moment the old energy leaves, the next phase of life begins to flow in. The pathways once blocked or unseen become visible, and the spirit moves forward with a clarity and momentum that only discipline and inner mastery can produce. The key is not in chasing what comes next, but in creating a vessel that can fully embrace it when it arrives. Activation is only the beginning. Speaking the intention, releasing the old and aligning with the 999 energy opens a doorway, but stepping through it requires movement. The portal does not act on its own. It responds to the energy you carry into the world, to the discipline you bring into each step, and to the clarity with which you live your choices. In Shaolin life, mastery is never passive. A monk may meditate for years, but meditation alone does not transform the body or the spirit. Every insight gained must be paired with action, deliberate, disciplined, and consistent. The same principle applies here. Intention without aligned behavior is like planting a seed in barren soil. The energy waits, but nothing grows. Acting with mastery means moving with awareness. Each decision, no matter how small, becomes an extension of the internal work you have done. The strength you cultivated in stillness, the clarity you found in breath, the calm you practiced in observation, all of it must flow into your steps, your words, and your choices. This is the essence of Shaolin discipline, inner alignment expressed outwardly. During the 999 portal, this becomes especially crucial. The energetic shift can present opportunities that feel sudden or even challenging. Without grounded action, the activation's momentum can dissipate. But when intention is paired with deliberate steps, completing tasks left undone, speaking truths held back, embracing responsibilities fully, the energy begins to move in your favor. It supports you, strengthens you, and carries you forward. True mastery is not only about preparation, stillness, or insight. It is about the courage and consistency to act from the place of centered power you have cultivated. The activation is not an endpoint. It is an invitation to move, to embody, and to allow your aligned action to transform potential into reality. Transformation does not follow the clock. It does not bend to desire or hurry. In Shaolin practice, patience is not passive waiting, it is an active cultivation of steadiness, trust, and readiness. The path unfolds in its own rhythm, and those who resist it only create tension within themselves. The energy of 999 embodies this principle. It is a portal, yes, but one that operates on divine timing. The shifts it brings may feel subtle at first, a thought that appears suddenly, an opportunity that quietly aligns, a feeling that hints at what is possible. The mind often wants more immediate signs, louder confirmations, faster results. But the portal does not work through impatience. It moves through alignment, through readiness, through the harmony of effort and release. In Shaolin life, a master teaches that even the smallest action, when paired with patience, carries enormous power. The student learns to plant each step carefully, to breathe deeply, and to wait until the energy is ready to meet him. The lesson is clear. The universe does not withhold. It simply follows its own laws, and the practitioner must synchronize with them rather than demand they bend. During this month, it is essential to trust the process. Every intention you have spoken, every weight you have released, every moment of stillness you have cultivated, it is already moving toward manifestation. The timing may not match expectation, but it is precise, purposeful, and aligned with the highest potential for your growth. Faith in the process is not idle hope. It is the discipline of the heart. It is the quiet confidence that what has been set in motion will arrive when the moment is right, with perfect clarity. Trusting the timing allows you to move with the current, rather than against it, and to embrace transformation not as a struggle, but as a natural unfolding of the energy you have cultivated. December's 999 portal is more than a moment in time. It is an invitation to complete what has been left unfinished, to release what weighs the spirit, and to step into a quiet, powerful rebirth. Through stillness, mindful intention, steady breath, and disciplined action, anyone can align with this energy and open themselves to transformation. The activation phrase holds its true power only when it rises from a centered mind, an open heart, and a spirit trained in patience and focus. This month asks us to let go of the old, honor the lessons we have learned, and move forward with clarity, balance, and strength. Every small act of presence, every conscious choice is a step toward mastery and alignment with the flow of the universe. Carry these teachings into your daily life. Speak with intention, act with discipline, and allow the stillness within to guide your steps. Trust the process, release what no longer serves you, and make space for the opportunities that are already moving toward you. May this December bring calm, clarity, and renewed energy to your path. Embrace the quiet power of the 999 portal and allow your transformation to unfold naturally. If this message resonates, join our journey. Like this video, subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire, and walk with us as we explore ancient wisdom, inner mastery, and the subtle energies that guide our lives.